Thank you for joining us here at Ludgate Member Spotlight feature. My name is Gavin Jeffery and I am the Business Development Manager here at Ludgate Hub. The Ludgate Member Spotlight Series was designed to highlight and showcase some of our wonderful members here at Ludgate and the businesses that they run. So today we're delighted to be joined by Michael Johnston. Michael Johnston is the main man in Liss Ard estate, and thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Great. So if first off, maybe you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So my name is Michael. I'm a new, proud West Cork member of the community. My heritage is Swedish, but I grew up in Southern California, in Newport Beach.
Lovely stuff, perfect. So you're moved to West Cork. How are you finding the lifestyle here in West Cork?
I love it. And look at a day like today. So it's the beginning of May, and today would rival any day in Southern California. You could go outside and think you're in Newport Beach.
Yeah.
So now, do you get that 365 days a year? No, but I was actually very surprised by how temperate the climate is in the winter. So I kind of knew what to expect in the summer, but was surprised how great the year-round weather actually is.
Super stuff, and you really showed us that, but you arrived on your bike today.
I did.
Yeah, so
technical problems with the car.
Yeah. So well done for that. So you're heading up Liss Ard estate, which is only 2 minutes from Ludgate Hub here.
Or what I found out, a 7-minute bike.
7 minute bikes.
7-minute bike ride.
Excellent. So you need a bit of training to get that down.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about Liss Ard and how you become involved with Liss Ard?
Yeah. So we acquired the property last January. I've known my business partner for 25 years, and he had always been sending me these beautiful estates. We both had real estate backgrounds. Mine was a little bit more geared towards hospitality. And 7 months into these lockdowns, I had a co-working company as well in Eastern Europe, and had developed several hotels and had invested and helped start a home sharing business in New York. And we're looking at the emerging trends in how people work, live, and travel. And we realized that there was this growing market and community of people working remote. And when you're kind of stuck in a home office in Dublin or in London or in Cork, maybe this is a good opportunity to kind of balance city life with the countryside, with the coast. And so we were looking at specifically Ireland, and we saw Liss Ard estate. We got very excited and flew from LA to Dublin. At that time, you couldn't get into Cork.
Yeah.
Took a driver that dropped us off at the property at about 8 o'clock in the morning after a long flight. And we just immediately fell in love with the estate and the grounds, but we knew it would be a project. Let's say, not a lot had been invested in the last 15 to 20 years on the interiors. Mm-hmm. So the nicest way to say is that they were tired, but we knew it had a ton of potential. And so.
Fantastic. So I suppose you saw straight away that it needed a little lift. So do you want to tell us a bit about that refurb that you just undertook?
Yeah, so we've had the property for a little over a year and like 4 or 5 months. And so we knew that we had to show the community and market that we were going to do something different. So by the time we closed, we already had the designers, we had the contractors, we had the whole team ready to kind of hit the ground running. And actually, in hindsight, kind of shocked how much we were able to do in that first initial 4-month push. So we did all the common areas. We added 2 new lounge bars, totally renovated the kitchen, all brand new equipment, focused on a wellness center right on the lake that has a sauna, a gym, a yoga studio, replaced all the furniture, redid the floors, painted all the walls, and then opened with everyone else in early June after restrictions had kind of lifted. And then as soon as our last event in October happened, we closed again and now have renovated all the guest rooms. So every guest room has a brand new bathroom, brand new rooms, and a couple other pet projects that we did as well.
Superb. That sounds amazing. So how long, going back before you guys arrived, how long is the business in operation? Do you know?
It has such a rich, unique history.
Yeah.
And what I love is everyone I talk to, in West Cork and especially in Skibbereen, they all have some sort of, story or association with the property, whether it was so they got married there, or a relative got married there, or they went to one of these outrageous music concerts that one of the previous owners used to have, or some association with James Turrell's Sky Garden that he built there. So the Cliff Notes version of it is that, from what I heard, kind of this, eccentric Swiss spy bought it, and that was in the 70s, and then he sold it to another eccentric art dealer, and then I think he went bankrupt and owed money to another more classical Swiss gentleman, and the whole time it had been kind of operating as a hotel. Okay. And then that last family sold it to us.
Superb. So you mentioned the new wellness area. Do you want to tell us what that is?
Yeah, if we look at what are the two mega trends that are happening, we believe, again, I've said this to you a couple times, to use the California analogy of surfing, to catch the wave, you have to be in front of the wave. Mm-hmm. From the work side, we see that there's a huge push, and if it's one good thing that came out of COVID, it's that it took a trend of people having more flexibility in their schedule and put it on steroids. Yeah. And so that's kind of what we're looking for in the work remote side. On the wellness side, we do see that there is a critical need for wellness, for quality of life. We do think that mental health will be kind of the next pandemic. Mm-hmm. So we're really trying to build all the infrastructure, whether it's in treatments, that who doesn't like, holistic massages or Reiki or reflexology, mm-hmm. but also kind of, to highlight one of them. We now have a second sauna, but we started last year with one wood burning sauna right on the lake, and you go in from the sauna into the lake. In the winter, it's a little bit more challenging, but probably more rewarding. And then you come back, and there's a kind of relaxation room that's inside the little pod, and you repeat that 3 or 4 times, and afterward you're born again. You'll have the best night's sleep ever.
Superb.
And these are the little things that we want to kind of help or to offer when our guests come.
And I know I've been out there before, and you briefly mentioned,
but not sauna, so we have to do that.
No, that's next. On the list. I have been to the James Turrell Sky Garden.
Yes,
and it's amazing experience. I must go back at night time now. But
100%.
It's a rare thing to have, isn't it? There's only 2 in Ireland, is that right?
Yeah, so it's special for sure. I believe it's one of the largest installations of his in Europe, and I think it really is a gift to West Cork. So we view that as if you're coming to even Munster County, mm-hmm. it's one of the 5 things you have to see. Yeah. And when you went there, we realized that it's such a spiritual or kind of meditative experience that it's best to the way we offer it's that you book it out in 20 minutes. Yeah. So it's kind of yours for 20 minutes.
You have it to yourself. Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Superb. So I suppose we're in the culinary capital of Ireland, not the world here in West Cork. So we have
based off the lunch I had, I might just say the world.
Yeah. So what type of what's the food offering in Liss Ard, and what do you offer there?
We knew we had to do a couple things kind of simultaneously when we closed on the property, and one of them was to have a world-class food and beverage operation. So we went out, we talked to all the usual suspects, some of the more in-demand chefs, even as far as Dublin, and we found what we thought was just the best fit. Fantastic Frenchman. So, he spent half his life in France, born in France, then moved out here when he was about 18 or 19, and then spent half his life in West Cork, and married a proper West Cork lady, and have their 2 little Irish kids, and just a fantastic man. His name is Alex, and a great chef. And so the cuisine, I would say it's classically West Cork with a little bit of a hint of French in it. Yeah.
Lovely. That sounds like a good mix right there. So a little quick talk about your staff and employees. Are you employing other local people? Because locally here, I presume. Have you many staff there now at this point, or is it difficult to get staff?
You know, I know the service industries, whether it's restaurants or hospitality, were pretty hard hit with COVID. I think a lot of people left the industry, and maybe not as many are coming back in as had left. So finding good talent is probably more challenging than it has been in the last 10 or 15 years. That being said, like, there's always going to be challenges in every business, right? Yeah. And so we want to make sure that the good ones that come in, we never let them go. Let's say the ones that are maybe not quite at the level that we hope, we want to make sure we give them every opportunity to succeed. And if it doesn't work out, we haven't actually had that many of those cases, you know?
Great.
So we've been very lucky, actually, that, you know, and I'd say even last year, there was a lot of younger kids that maybe could have made money sitting at home, you know, and they chose to work. And it was a true testament to kind of, you know, their work ethic and wanting to come out and earn a euro.
It's good to hear, that's good to hear. And when we speak about challenges, you know, traditionally in an area like West Cork, you'd find there'd be an off season, I suppose. And I know from speaking to you before that you've turned that around and turned it into an opportunity. So why don't you tell our viewers about how you changed that challenge and turned it into an opportunity?
Yeah, and that was kind of the basis of our investment thesis, is that we were looking for these beautiful estates that were traditionally closed half the year. And we thought, you know, that there is this emerging market of people working remote. We wanted to tap into that market. And, you know, we're seeing that it's actually, thankfully, a larger season than what we thought it would be. We thought there would be a little bit of price sensitivity, and in the peak season, you know, our rates could be €300 to €400. In the off season, we wanted to really drop that to, it's almost the same price point that you can put your apartment in Dublin on Airbnb and come out and spend, you know, a week or 10 days or 2 weeks.
It's like a free holiday, so.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think one of the trends that we'll see is that people will travel less often, but for longer stays. And I think that a lot of the travel will have some sort of work incorporated with it. Like they will wake up, they'll, you know, put in their 5 to 8 or 10 hours, and you know, just not in their apartment or their city.
Great. So I suppose looking back over your first, I suppose you've achieved a lot in that first year. What's the thing that you're most proud of in that time?
Well, the renovation. And a testament to my business partner, his wife, who had really led the design on our side, and all the local builders and contractors we were lucky enough to meet, to work with. You know, I've embarrassed a lot of them before in conversations. I don't mind doing it again. But like, people will walk in and they'll see the floor. The locals, they'll know Alan Fitzgerald did those floors.
Fantastic.
And they'll look at, you know, the bar and say, did Clahan Woodworks did that?
They're craftsmen.
They're true artisans. And you know, we were lucky to work with one of the builders when we were doing the first stage, named Greg Mannix, who did our bathrooms. And he was just a fantastic guy. And so, you know, we kind of brought him on to be the main contractor to do the second kind of larger phase of renovation.
Great,
But there's so many of them, and they're all like real artisans.
Brilliant, and that's wonderful to hear that you are using local contractors. That's super.
The furthest we went for anything was Dublin. You know, for some furniture, you know?
Okay, we'll forgive you the one there, Michael. So looking forward then, what you see your long-term goals for Liss Ard in 5 years' time, let's say. It's all gone well. Where are you guys at?
We want to make West Cork and Skibbereen really a destination for professionals working remote. And, you know, I do believe in this clustering effect. And, you know, I think we're privileged to be on probably one of the most iconic parts of Ireland, this Wild Atlantic Way. And it's made famous for like a 3 or 4 month season for people exploring all the beauty of this, you know, the iconic ragged coastline and rolling hills. And, you know, with the climate, I don't see why that can't be 12 months. I really don't. And so I hope that, you know, when you're going in the non-summer months, or when people are often working, mostly working, that it really becomes kind of that destination for so many people to come out and kind of be like their 2 to 3 weeks every year that's where they go.
Yeah.
So they know every October or February, March, I go out to West Cork for 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, get a recharge and go back home,
Exactly.
ready to do some more
Exactly.
work. Yeah, super.
And I think, people are just learning, kind of as we emerge out of the pandemic, how to utilize that for our advantage.
Yeah.
So companies have now, offered this ability to work remote.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's up to the individuals and maybe us working with some companies to show how to do that the best way.
Great, fantastic, yeah. And you're recently a new member here at Ludgate
Yes,
as well,
proud member.
Thank you for that. Yeah, we're really delighted to have you. So why did you join Ludgate, and what are the benefits for you to be here?
Well, selfishly, because I had the co-working brand myself in Eastern Europe, and I love the energy of being in a co-working facility.
Yeah.
So that's why I was just, I woke up today, I went for a run, like we've talked about that, the morning runs, and then I worked from this gallery inside Liss Ard. But after 2 hours, I kind of wanted to change my location.
Yeah.
So I want to come down to Dillon's Corner, right across the street from here, get lunch, and then I want to be able to pop in here for 2 to 3 hours a couple times a week.
Yeah.
So that's selfishly for me. And then for our guests, I think that this is, especially for the guests that are coming here to work remote, they want the same thing. Mm-hmm. They want to be able to walk around the estate in the morning, go for a walk, do their meditation, get a good breakfast. But for a couple hours, 3 to 4 or 5 hours, come down and work here.
Great. Yeah, fantastic. And I suppose we'll wrap it up now soon. But I suppose if people want to find out more about Liss Ard and how how do they find you guys, or how do they go?
Easy. We have a website, lissardestate.ie. We also have the .com, but we prefer the .ie.
Great.
And there, if it's the clientele that are looking for what we're doing in terms of work remote, we have a separate page on that website that says work remote. They can leave their information and we'll reach out to them.
Brilliant, nice and simple. Okay, so thanks so much for joining us, Michael, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Take care.